Have you ever looked at a map of the Middle East and wondered why the borders look so ... strange? So many straight lines, cutting through deserts and mountains, seemingly without any regard for the people living there. Well, the story behind those lines is one of secret deals, broken promises, and a single agreement that redrew the map and shaped the modern Middle East forever. It's called the Sykes-Picot Agreement. Let's rewind to the middle of World War I. The Ottoman Empire, which had ruled much of the Middle East for centuries, was on the brink of collapse. Seeing an opportunity, two major Allied powers, Britain and France, started to think about what would happen after the war. How would they divide the spoils? So in 1916, two diplomats, Britain's Sir Mark Sykes and France's Francois-Georges Picot, met in secret. They weren't just having a friendly chat over tea. They were literally drawing lines on a map. The plan they came up with was audacious. They decided to carve up the Ottoman Empire's Arab provinces between themselves. France would get control over what is now Syria and Lebanon. Britain would take charge of modern-day Jordan, Iraq, and the area around the Persian Gulf. Palestine, because of its religious significance, was designated for international administration, though Britain had its own designs on it. Essentially, they were creating spheres of influence, cutting up a massive region to serve their own colonial ambitions. Now here's where it gets really complicated. While Sykes and Picot were making their secret deal, Britain was also making promises to other groups. They had encouraged Arab leaders to revolt against the Ottomans, promising them an independent Arab state after the war. This was the famous Arab Revolt, led by figures like Sharif Hussein of Mecca and advised by the legendary T.E. Lawrence, also known as Lawrence of Arabia. The Arabs fought bravely, believing they were fighting for their freedom and a unified Arab nation. They had no idea that their supposed allies were secretly planning to divide their lands. And there was another promise. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, promising support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. So, you have Britain promising the same land, or parts of it, to three different groups: the French, the Arabs, and the Zionists. It was a recipe for disaster. When the Bolsheviks in Russia overthrew the Tsar, they discovered the secret Sykes-Picot Treaty in the government archives and, eager to expose the imperialist motives of the Allies, they published it for the world to see. The Arabs were outraged. They felt betrayed, and rightfully so. Their dream of a unified, independent Arab state was shattered by the very people they had trusted as allies. After the war ended, the Sykes-Picot Agreement, with a few modifications, largely became a reality. The League of Nations granted Britain and France mandates to govern these new territories, which were essentially colonies in all but name. The straight-line borders were officially drawn, often splitting up communities and tribes that had lived together for generations, while forcing rival groups into newly created states. The consequences of this have been echoing through history ever since. The artificial borders created states like Iraq and Syria, lumping together diverse ethnic and religious groups: Sunnis, Shias, Kurds, Christians under one flag. This created internal tensions that have fueled instability and conflict for decades. The sense of betrayal among the Arabs fostered deep resentment towards the West, contributing to the rise of Arab nationalism and anti-colonial movements across the region. And the conflicting promises over Palestine laid the groundwork for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one of the most intractable disputes of our time. So the next time you look at a map of the Middle East, remember it's not just a collection of countries. It's a landscape shaped by a secret handshake over a century ago. The legacy of Sykes-Picot is a powerful reminder of how backroom deals and colonial ambitions can have devastating, long-lasting consequences that continue to affect the lives of millions today. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle for understanding the complex politics of the modern Middle East. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this history interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. See you in the next video.